As I stated in the last category, in this category, CordCutters US server, I'm going to be showing you what you get when I build a server for you, either a new one, used one, or one I happen to have on the shelf ready to go. They're all built the same, and that has lots of advantages. One being that if I'm servicing it and warranted it, that every media server I build is almost identical. So when I'm looking at your media server, assuming you bought one from me, I'm basically looking at familiar territory, one just like mine and any I've built. So we've already shown all this before, but the only difference is this is a CordCutter.us media server. This is the way I build it, and I actually add a little bit of content in every library to get people going, and of course instruction and service and everything else. So basically, we've seen all this before. I've added a few movies in here, movies that I've bought, collected over the years. Just a few. I put some Billy Jack collection I had in there, the Karate Kid collection, my Tarzan collection, Johnny Weissmuller Tarzan, Steven Seagal collection. And again, as we saw before, recommended. We just saw library collections. I went ahead and put together some collections with the movies I put in there, including the Beatles stereo collection, which we'll look more at in the audio section. But I also got the 8 Days movie in there. Thought it would go nice with all the Beatles stuff. So I've got every Johnny Weissmuller Tarzan in there, and Billy Jack. Now, just because I put these movies in there, you don't have to keep them. You can delete them, move them off the server, store them somewhere else, or whatever you want to do with them. And the Karate Kid collection, as an example, I've went ahead and set up with the movies, the 5 movies, and the Cobra Kai television series. I've added all that to the collection, so they're already put together. And this kind of helps that as you start adding your own media and your own content and all that, this kind of gives you something to go by, so you don't have to figure it out on your own, because I've already got these collections and libraries all set up. So that is the movies, and that's what I build my servers, and that's what I started off with. TV shows, same thing. It looks the same as before, only this is the CordCutter.us server. This is the server that you would be getting if I build it for you. Like I said before, either new, used, or custom, whatever, but all my servers are pretty much built the same way. In the TV, I've got the Beatles anthology that I've collected, the Beatles stereo USB, which we'll get to in the audio. I've got the Cobra Kai, we already looked at it. Got the I put this is a really great series during the history, and this goes back to 2008, but it's a John Adams mini series. Audiobooks, you know, I put a couple of audiobooks in there again just to set up the library for you, and if you know, you can always delete it or take it off, store it somewhere else, whatever. Now the music, I did add, and I'll add a video in this category too, explaining what the Beatles USB is, but I bought this back in, I think it was 2007. It was a special edition that came out around Christmas time, and it had every Beatles song. It had a lot of artwork with it, and but it's basically every album. I think there's 12 albums in here, and we looked at this in my CordCutter One server, but I went out of my way to set up the audio library with this collection. And if you're not a Beatles fan and you don't want it, you can delete it or do something else with it. I put in a Bee Gees. I've got hundreds of CDs, and they're all boxed up now because I've added them all to my media library. But I just put a little something of a few artists in there, just so that again, you're getting started with that library and you can see what to expect when you add your own collection to it. Elvis Presley, the complete 68 comeback, and a couple other albums. But this pretty much speaks for itself. Jimmy Buffett, John Lennon thought he'd go good with the Beatles collection. And I've got the complete comeback special album is a collection, and I also created a collection using the Beatles stereo USB collection. So I set up all the 3 categories so that as you add your music to it, you got something to go by. It should be easy. Music by compilation. Again, my server CordCutter One had that library in there, and I added a few things here. My Mob Hits collection, Cool Britannia, my Fabulous 50s collection, and I went ahead and put in my rock and roll era. There's 65 albums. I spent probably 10 years collecting these through the mail from Time Life, and I went ahead and put the commercials in here that I found on YouTube. But I thought that would be nice to add to it to get you started. And again, you know, the recommended and all that, it's already primed up. I didn't put a collection in this one because it kind of redundant. The collection's already in the other one. Photos, I went ahead and set up the library so just so you've got it and you can start adding your own pictures. And again, you can look at it just the same way we looked at it in CordCutter One server. Same with other videos. I put the Beatles USB collection video, a couple of them in here explaining what's behind it. I'll also just put it in the category FYI in case you want to just, you know, look at it and see what it's all about. I paid about, I think about $300 for it back in 2007. I look them up on eBay. They're going for around $600 or $700 on eBay if you can find them. But you get the entire collection. You just don't get you don't get my Apple. But it's high quality FLAC, and you'll see that if you choose to look at the video. And again, I put the collection in here just so you'd have it all in one spot. And I added the 8 days a week movie that Ron Howard did, and it's in the anthology, the TV mini series. I have that too, and I put it all in one place so that it's not only something that's convenient for you to go to if you like the Beatles, but it's set up so that you can start your own collections and you got something to go by. Live TV and DVR, we went through this in the other server. I happen to be linked with my antenna on this server too. But in order for you to have the live TV and DVR enabled, you have to, one, be a Plex Pass member when you get your server, and then you also have to have a HD antenna and tuner box in your in your home or wherever it is. It's just got to be on your network, and of course I can help you with that. And then we got the downloads section, and we'll come back to the downloads. I want to go ahead and go to more. And just like in CordCutter server in the previous category, it expands. And in this instance, we're sharing with or CordCutter 1 is sharing with the media server that I build. So this is part of the when I build a server and you get the first year membership included, I go ahead and set up the sharing with CordCutter 1 server. Again, just like everything else. So it's already set up, it's been tested and ready for you to add or share your server with other friends or family member or what have you. So in this instance, we've already went through all this, and we're going to go through the Plex live TV and all that in another category. But basically, if you go to the CordCutter 1, I'm not sharing every library with everybody. I'm just sharing media, basically audiobooks. And as you can see here, the entire library of audiobooks is here. And this is where the downloads function is going to come into play. Now, if our CordCutter 1 is sharing with your server that I built, CordCutter 1 has the option of what libraries to share. And you, in turn, if you share your Plex with a friend or family member, you choose which libraries to share. You don't have to share them all. Doesn't make sense unless it's a close family member that you're giving them your photos and your other videos and stuff, but certainly the media. So anyway, so you see all the library of the audiobooks is just like it looked previously. Movies, the same thing. I've got 4,408 movies, and it's the way it's set up on my CordCutter 1 server. It's recommended the same, and they keep changing around down here. Today it's top movies and science fiction, and then the collections are the same too. And we'll get to the download part. I'll come back to this because this is basically stuff we've all gone over before. Music by artists. You see my entire collections here. They're just the way we saw it on the previous CordCutter 1 server. Same thing with music by compilation. Same thing. It shows up just like it is on the CordCutter 1 server. So we have playlists, music. Now, this is sharing with CordCutter 1, so you're not seeing my playlist here. You've got what Plex puts together automatically, which you can see they're blank. And then you got all music. So this is basically all the music from CordCutter 1, which is no way you're going to listen to over 19,000 tracks. But if I choose to share a playlist with you, which I did in this instance, it's going to show up here under shared. And there it is. I shared my classic mix, and we'll basically, you can either play it from here, or I'll show you when the time's right, what else you could do with it. TV shows are the same. So everything's the same. Okay, just to recap, we went over the CordCutter.us server, the server prototype that when I build a server for a client, this is the way I build it, and media is included in it. And we also went over the Cord Cutter 1 is being shared on this server as a CordCutter.us member. And if I build a server for you, we're sharing this under the Plex share with family and friends. We went over that. Plex section down here with the free stuff Plex provides with any server. I'm going to do that in a separate video, and to keep this one short, and being that Plex is part of any Plex server that's built. So the only other thing we've got is to go over downloads, and I'm going to do a separate video on downloads that has to do with Plex sharing with friends and family, and how to download. I'm going to do that in a separate video.